Внимание! Звучит государственный гимн Аргентины. Please remain standing for the national anthem of Argentina.
Welcome to Russia. And Jorge Sampaoli, you see that little exhalation. There was a question whether he would even have a job at this point if Argentina had stumbled down the stretch, but they didn't. And what that does is open this match, Ray, with a chance to look at some players that might be on the bubble and some ready to pop in themselves.
Giovanni Lo Celso is in, and he has been playing some really fine football back in Argentina with Rosario Central. He's on loan from Paris Saint-Germain. At 21-year-old, he's going to be very interesting to watch. By all reports, a cracking little footballer, Phil. 21-year-old Giovanni for Argentina.
Well, this is kind of interesting. You see Vladislav Bezborodov. And if you follow Russian football, it might actually sound familiar. A former player for Zenit St. Petersburg and Dynamo and the like, and now the 44-year-old is a referee.
Good. That's a rarity, really. It truly is. Not many ex-footballers go on to continue their quest in the beautiful game by being in the middle as a referee.
Ended his playing career in 2002, became a FIFA ref in 2009.
All players think it's so easy. They're all so critical of referees. I used to have my players referee the 11-a-side games, and they hated it. They hated it because the abuse was so bad. Here's Nigeria.
Balogun and Ekong among them. Mikel will be running the middle. Iheanacho and Iwobi, the next generation. And boy, have they responded for Gerald Rohr.
Good players, Iheanacho, 21-year-old Leicester, and a 21-year-old player, Alex Iwobi, one of your Arsenal lads, Phil.
Nigeria with its third straight World Cup. The other four African representatives to Russia 2018, all ending long droughts, including Egypt going all the way back to Italia 90. Welcome back. And for the Super Eagles, well, in some ways it could be a welcome back for them as well. One of the first to burst onto the scene, but they have stumbled in recent qualifiers and recent World Cups, although they did make it to the knockout stage in Brazil 2014. Argentina in their albiceleste with the dark shorts, the all green of the Super Eagles attacking from right to left.
Argentina played well against Russia. I felt it was a good game. Messi, of course, the inspiration. Everything centered around him and through him, and he, as always, he produced scintillating performance. He left it late to beat the host nation, but it was a beautifully engineered goal. And it'll be interesting to see who pulls the real strings here in this game here tonight. They've been playing with a little bit more of a relaxed look about them, Phil, since the qualifier was put behind them and they booked their place. They left it awfully late. Very, very fine. But right now, they look as if they're starting to get a bit back together, and George Sampaoli has said in these next few games coming up, he's going to be able to be a lot more adventurous with his lineup and seeing different recipes.
That's a great comment. I mean, much of the world has been focused in on Italy's failure, joining the United States, and Sampaoli's hold Chile on the sidelines. Bruce Arena had mentioned the fact from a U.S. perspective, just get to the World Cup and then we can tinker. Well, Jorge Sampaoli does get to the World Cup, and now he is tinkering. This is almost a Bielsa-like 3-3-3-1.
Yep.
Now, of course, when Messi pops into the equation, anything is fair game. But Sergio Aguero leading the flanks, and as you mentioned, Ray, Paulo Dybala, the man of the hour.
Nice build up here.
Offside, the call on this near side run from Christian Pavón, who is in the Messi role.
Yep, good player. He's been playing very well for Boca Juniors. Pavón, another youngster being fed in by George Sampaoli. Got to learn how to hold his line there, looking at the ball. Just getting caught out.
And again, former competitors on the field. Di Maria, I'm sure, with a little bit of a smile in the tunnel when he saw Ladislav Bezborodov. Ball flicked on by Ndidi.
Mascherano in there quick. He's been playing some really good football lately as well. Not just for his national team, for Barcelona as well, since he's slipped in. Ooh.
Almost up the middle, but stripped. And now turning upfield the other way, Balogun. Well, for Argentina, in many ways, this is a test against themselves for the Nigerians. Regardless of all of the problems that Argentina had in qualifying, they have to be considered among the favorites once the World Cup tournament gets underway proper. And so for Nigeria, a very good yardstick match today. Over to the far side and kept in by Awasiem down the line. Keep an eye in the middle. Shehu forgetting something along the way.
It's a bad touch. Shehu gets the ball in good position. He's got Otamendi backing up, but now it was a step before that replay. But Shehu just let the ball get away from him with that bad touch that I was talking about. Otamendi gets the cleats. All the African teams have all got big rivalries, of course, but this is a rivalry in itself. It's historical past. Argentina against Nigeria, throwing up some good big games in the past.
World Cup '94 pops to mind.
Yeah.
Mascherano drops it in nicely. Pavón on the run, gets to it inside the box, flips it back with the outside of his right. Aguero through Dybala, and you see Dybala showing he wants the ball, wants the chance. The return pass, second effort from Aguero. Dybala cuts, shoots, and it's blocked safely into the waiting arms of the keeper. Close.
Good challenge by Balogun. Comes across here and just gets enough of it, Leon Balogun. Two good challenges, but I think it was the mains man that came up and just put the cork in the bottle right at the right time. Nice build-up again from Argentina. Tricky play, as always, from the wonderful twinkle toes Dybala. As you said, Phil, testing themselves here, and can it be overstated? Without Messi, there's not just a player that comes out, but there's a dimension that takes the horizontal and vertical and just adds a third dimension to it that any team in the world would miss. And not just the inspiration, but of course the engineer in charge, and how this team is going to have to adapt over the years. And Leo has changed his manner and the way he plays as well, and not the out-and-out forward anymore. So how do you adapt for that? How do you compensate for it? There is none.
Petzela, a lot of responsibility in this three-man back line. Argentina retreating, pushed back for Iwobi. The Arsenal man dispossessed. Question about Otamendi, normally used to playing on the right side. Mascherano playing on the left when he plays with Piqué, but their roles reversed here today. Quickly forward for Lo Celso. Agüero out wide, keeps his balance and keeps possession. Looked to be a trip up, but the referee, Mezborodov, says no.
A good block tackle right on him, and he's seen plenty of them in his day, this referee. Here's the one that just skedaddles away, but it's well won back.
Looked like it could have been a trip, but Mezborodov sees otherwise. Flipped into the middle, plucked away by Enzo Perez. The way this lineup is shaped, Petzela almost a sweeper with Mascherano and Otamendi as the marking backs. Perez, the ball winner in the midfield with Banega and Lo Celso, the maestros. Pavón and Di Maria, in many ways the ones that have the most work to do, as they will be wing backs and wings in the attack, with Dybala and Agüero the spine of the attack. We've seen Di Maria play in that position to some success.
Yeah.
Pavón has that responsibility here today, but that again comes into the question, especially in this formation, Ray. Ball tucked through, looking for the run of Dybala. When Messi returns, is there room for Paulo? Perez inverting the pyramid a bit and stepping up to win it. Mascherano sneaks it around Jean-Obi Mikel.
It's been good, some real good touches early on in the early parts of this game from the Rosario Central lad, Lo Celso, looking for the ball, very responsible, wanting it, no hiding away. Oh, he gets a bad bounce there, but he's seen it picked up.
Nigeria also not the old 4-4-2 you might remember. Going with 5 in the back, but as we've seen, Shehu on the right, Aina on the left, like to push forward. The one difference with Nigeria is the dynamic duo up front of Iheanacho and Iwobi. The Manchester City lad and the Arsenal youngster, both proving they are ready for their close-ups. Back to Petzela.
All about that competitive nature between these two teams. It's not just in the senior teams as well. Remember the great clashes that are ahead in the Olympics.
Otamendi on a rare foray upfield.
The youth levels, of course, Nigeria, an absolute talent factory in Africa. It's been going through some tough times with the recession in the country.
Out wide, early touch in from Pavón, but it sails over everyone.
Affected the whole federation in many ways, so some readdressing from Daniel's men, but the country's still able to produce some wonderful players, and always a high-class, entertaining team to watch.
Ball played back. Trust Ekong over to Balogun.
Of course, Nigeria missing out on the African Cup of Nations after they had won it the last time out, Phil.
Mikel. And again, one of the surprises, I think if you were going to look at some of the powerhouses like a Ghana, like an Ivory Coast,
yeah,
like even perhaps a Cameroon, who seem to be showing resurgence.
Tackle. That's brilliant from Mascherano, but he's been bundled off it here fairly.
Iwobi to the center, tangled up and dispossessed.
Well, Mascherano wins 2 tackles beautifully, but as you say, Alex Iwobi, Arsenal boy, comes through and absolutely outmuscles Mascherano. And if I was a 21-year-old, I'd stick that on my bedroom wall every night. Well played.
Yeah, it seemed getting
Have
back
you
to your
seen much of him, Phil, with Iwobi for the Arsenal?
Not enough. And I mean, I have seen him.
Right.
It would be great to see more of him. And I think we will over the next few years.
Certainly looks the part.
Ball played back. Balogun slides over. Former teammate of Steve Cherundolo at Hanover earlier in his career. Back now to the Mainz man. Finishing the thought about Nigeria, I think they would have had to have been one of the nations that you would think might have missed out on Russia 2018. But this new generation, and credit to the old man in charge, Gernot Rohr, realizing that the youngsters were ready.
Yeah, certainly getting a big bow here today against the World Cup finalists. Argentina was so unlucky in that final against Germany in Brazil.
Well, will this finally be a hurdle that they can cross?
No, it's the missing the big players as well, Phil, in that game.
Good control, but off balance on the shot from Pavon.
But they still had enough that come through and could have, should have won a situation of beating beating Germany. Of course, no Higuain here today, no Icardi. That's wonderful check there from him, and he just misses his strike. This was earlier in the game. Angel Di Maria, see the stardust coming out of Icardi's feet there to set that chance up, and he was square for a knock-in.
Ooh, and a collision that sees Balogun go down.
He'll be fine. Comes in against Ola Enya, and a little bit of a shoulder into the face. Yeah, just a little pop.
Seems like he's grabbing his jaw and the side of his face a bit. Awaziem looking on a bit concerned. Ola Aina. Can't expect him to slow down.
Just an unfortunate clash, and he'll feel it a little bit, but he'll be fine.
Good look at Rohr. 64 years of age. He's been around for a while in Africa. Started out 2010 as a national team coach with Gabon before moving to Niger, Burkina Faso, and for the last 2 years with Nigeria. Got his start as a Bayern Munich player way back in the day.
He didn't play much for the FC Hollywood.
Slid over to France, which is where he made his name, with Bordeaux.
Yeah, over 350 games in the wine country, and went on to manage them in his first managerial setup.
Ball just behind Pavon, who was expecting the through ball. Aguero tries to win it back, but can't.
Messi, of course, just took off immediately after the game, basically hopped on his first flight home. Couldn't wait to get back to the wife and kids. And just as a precaution for Sampaoli, saying just been resting him, that's all. There's done enough and seen enough of him against Russia. And a little bit of argy-bargy here. This referee's a good manager. You can tell he's played. He sees this coming on, and it's a little bit of handbags, nothing too bad. And referee saw it straight away, and didn't seem to be too much in it at all. Let's take another look. Arm comes up and onto Otamendi, and that's a lot more serious than what I had thought. And Otamendi knows it as well, and for a friendly game, saying that it shouldn't be leaving the bottle edges there, but there's the smile and saying, come on. But that wasn't a bit nasty, huh? For a friendly.
And again, might not seem like much even with the elbow out, but the point of the elbow catches the cheekbone just right.
Sure. Well, in the earlier one, when Balogun got that nasty knock on his teammate's shoulder, you tell straight away there wasn't much in that, but that action of the elbow coming through, that is a lot more cynical. Enzo getting some words from Mascherano. I lost my train of thought there for some reason. She recognises his. Mwah.
At least they found a use for the Messi cam. Negacice behind, whispering into Sampaoli's ears. This would be a bit of a concern, to say the least. There have been some concerns about Otamendi in recent years. Promising career seems to have been derailed just a bit.
I don't know if there's any excuses for Iheanacho here.
Especially
you know, the situation is that when it's a clash, but when the action, you know, we see players jumping for a free ball and they'll catch an elbow, and that's all part of the game. But this one seems to be a little bit more premeditated, and Otamendi knows it. And it's a good yellow card. The referee identifying it, and Nacho pleading his innocence, but guilty as sin.
Spanked over to this near side. Mascherano roaring at his midfield to slide over.
This game's taking on a little bit more of a broken bottle edge in the early going of this game. I really didn't expect this. Oh, now the ante gets raised. A little bit of vinegar in the game now. I like it. A beautiful switch.
Cheapest ticket to get in here today, about $10, although many have spent nearly $200 to get a ticket to watch. See, some of the expensive seats might still be vacant, but a lot of the fans bundled up. Temperature just above 50. Humidity up there as well. For the World Cup should be just a bit warmer. Di Maria tripped up. Actually, Otamendi again. This time colliding with Njiji.
I've lost the lads leaving it in.
A lot of the talk from Nigeria leading up to this match is, yeah, it's Argentina, but we're not impressed by the pedigree and maybe some of this physical nature. They're trying to prove that here in the early going. 20 minutes in, step over from Di Maria, whipped in towards the 6. Cleared away by Ekong.
Good run. Nicely.
Goal line, lifted into the middle. Launched high into the air by Ogu. Still loose, but a foul as they try to win it back against Argentina.
Christian Pavon a little bit too flat-footed here on that back post. Well, this was the earlier challenge, but I thought he could have attacked the earlier ball. Pavon. And early days for this team, coming together now in a relaxed atmosphere now. Argentina. There's still several more friendly games to be played before the big kickoff in Russia. Sampaoli to engineer and reconstruct.
Well, Ray, what is it really that he learned? And again, remember the fact he did not step in at the start of qualifying as Argentina's manager. In fact, he wasn't even the second choice.
Great ball.
Around the corner, tucked into the middle, keeping it alive, Agüero, but Nigeria gets it out of danger. Good work, Di Maria.
Balogun again, the mains man, shepherding him. Wonderful covering from Leon Balogun. tracking down Kun Aguero, knowing where the danger is going to come from. A lovely pass from Di Maria. Just good defending that time.
Jorge Sampaoli, actually the third manager through qualifying.
Yeah,
had to jump
difficult
into the horse when it was already midstream. Now he gets a chance to tinker. What is he going to try and do? How can he make Argentina better?
Well, that's a big question, Phil, and we're going to see how they're going to redevelop. Ooh, bad giveaway.
And a chance here at the edge. Back heel looking for Iwobi, but no. Enzo Perez.
You know, to get picked up there by Dybala. Very close to worming his way through. One or two little rough touches.
Ekong running out of real estate. Carries over into, it'll be a throw in for Argentina deep. Banega. Whoa, dangerous.
It's a great ball.
Tucked across the six. Just behind Di Maria, and Aguero couldn't react either, and now both of them are down injured inside the six.
Wow. Beautiful football engineered here by the Albiceleste. Again, magnificent vision. Over the distance, Banega. The Sevilla man, absolutely wonderful. That's Messi-esque with his vision and his pass. And desperate defending in the end by Nigeria. Collision, again, doesn't look as if it's so serious, but Aguero looks as if he's all right. Yeah, Di Maria looks as if it's a little bit more of a concern in the joint area, and that's never a good sign.
Di Maria had to try and stop.
Took a look at this brilliant ball. Picks the dandruff off a wasp's wing with that ball. Brilliant Banega. The cutback is there, and then the follow through from Di Maria. He's a half a boot length away. It looks as if he'll be okay. There's the go through, and I don't see too much.
Unintentionally, Ekong seemed to step on him as the ball had gone away. Sampaoli, who's already seen Otamendi down, now sees Di Maria and Aguero down. The one thing you don't want in these friendlies are injuries.
Had a good game. Played at a good tempo, and Nigeria having to work the socks off defensively, but that will not be too bad for Gernot Rohr, because seeing his team up against this Aladdin's Cave of talent, Phil, they're not going to get many greater tests in terms of the attacking prowess, what they got at the other end. So close to grabbing that lead, Argentina there. Oh,
dangerous.
Nice.
Di Maria obviously okay, almost stole it away.
Interesting selection for Gernot Rohr's Nigeria. In goal, Akpeyi, a 31-year-old. I was hoping we'd see Francis Uzoho, who is the Deportivo La Coruña sensation, the youngest ever goalkeeper to play in La Liga.
So available on the bench here today, along with the 29-year-old Ikechukwu Ezenwa, who is domestic based. You kind of figure, though, the battle might be between Akpeyi and Carl Ikeme, the Wolves keeper, who is not called up, although had been the regular for much of qualifying.
He's always able to hit that type of pass, Eva Banega style, and his passing over that distance, when we've been doing the Barcelona games, Phil, he's so very apt at picking out the early run. Oh, that's outside. That's a... Yep.
And that does look like it.
What a brain freeze.
Quickly restarted, but you heard the whistle in the background. Now, Argentina might have a question here as to whether the whistle should have blown. They also have a legitimate complaint that this could be a red card.
Well outside. That's just crazy.
And all of a sudden, Karl Ikeme looks like a pretty good choice. But Daniel Ekpe, I think his point was the fact that it should have been retaken, but I think this is just a brain cramp. Now, if this was a competitive match, I think there might have been a red card, but in all honesty, both managers don't really want to go 11 on 10.
Well, in my experience, I played with the goalkeeper that did exactly the same thing at Seattle against the Sounders, and the Sounders put this one away.
So 18 yards and a hair.
What an absolute amazing catastrophe
Banega
for the keeper.
Takes it, tucks
he
it,
did it!
buries it. Ever Banega with the goal.
Deja vu all over again for me. After a catastrophic mistake by Daniel Akpeyi, who literally fills his pants and picks the balls up, and Blondie goes disco. We're all very grateful. A wonderful, wonderful strike. Ever again curls it round. The goalkeeper commits another sin. Daniel Akpeyi goes and leans one way and then goes completely the other, leaving that side of his goal wide open. The poor lad is. There's the step to the side. What he's doing there, I don't know.
He set the wall up to the near post,
right,
and then cheats to the near post.
Right, so he's got to cover that left side, and that's where ever present, wonderful vision, and seeing that change of weight from Daniel, says, I've got him here. What a strange goal. The setup for it was even stranger. That's something that you see at the kids level, huh? I mean, down at the Hollywood Wildcats.
You'd be making them run laps.
Yeah, really. He wouldn't do that. Good ball.
Second effort, tucks it through, keeping it alive. Pabon
rides it.
Curls into the 18, squared, and this time Akpe holds on.
Better hands that time from Daniel. A cheaper United man. He's having a game to remember or forget.
Argentina gets it right back now. Again, you might think that that's disaster, but as a manager, those are the things you'd like to see now rather than next summer. And a real question, it's not so much to put a scratch or an X next to Daniel Ekpe's name, is to see how he reacts from that mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. It's how you react that determines the champions.
You're a kind man, Phil. You'll never be a coach. That is absolutely unforgivable. I mean, just toe poke the ball away. It's outside the box. It's over the line. Come on.
It's like he was acting as though it was a free kick. No, I want to take the free kick inside the box. Had a brain cramp.
A lad who committed a sin for my team was a lad called Marine Kano. Lovely lad. Lived in Torrance, California. I love you, Marine, if you're watching or listening. But we said that's why they call him Marine, because he's all at sea.
Well, an SOS sent up by Nigeria right now. And credit to Argentina, Ray. They've kept the ball away from Mikel in the midfield and from Iwobi and Iheanacho up front.
Well said, Obi Mikel not having a very impressive game at all, very quiet, but this Argentina team keeping it for fun.
Well weighted by Otamendi, feeds the run of Agüero, but saved by Akpe.
A nice run dictating the pass. Enzo takes off beautifully, and then no pullback, nothing much else on for him, and that's good goalkeeping from Daniel.
Ekong and Balogun using their height
Ooh.
Wide open and probably should have done better. Otamendi.
It's a hard header. Difficult. Got a big angle to find here because he's attacking the ball in front of the near post. Look at this. That takes the neck of an owl to put it away. And good effort, great ball, wonderful service. And Otamendi does his best. Just cannot take enough off it and glance it down. It's a good header. Indeedy.
Again, charging down the left flank. Numbers
Nicely.
open. Back heel from
Magic.
Di Maria. Aguero
Oh, what a tackle.
at the top of the box denied. Second effort, screaming for it near side is Pavon.
Won a tackle by Shehu.
Blasted but off target, and Nigeria off the hook.
Shehu Abdallah comes across here right in the nick of time. Plays his football in Cyprus. This wonderful challenge, just doing enough after some lovely interplay from Argentina. Beautiful variety in their passing, and then the hesitation to set another opportunity, calibrating and then recalibrating, and Sampaoli will love that. But as we see, Abdullahi trying to get his joint back in place. There's a brave reach-in tackle by this young man.
24
Right here.
years of age.
Just does enough to put off El Kun. Thinks he's going to be able to give this the red-hot crack towards Akpehi's goal. But sees it come and sees it go.
Abdullahi taking the full weight of the shot from Aguero right
Fun
into
game.
his calf.
Fun game, man. Little bit of edge to it. Nigeria getting the rhythm drums going. Liking what they see. Disbelieving their bloodshot eyes at Daniel Akpe's performance earlier, but saw him get his groove back together. Well won there. Nice play.
Mikel
Ogu
touches it away from Banega, the Tianjin ex-Chelsea man. Wide. Abdullahi inside. Iwobi keeps it alive. Carries away. It'll be Argentina throw. You heard the screaming from the defense, Shehu, and there.
He shouldn't laugh, but that is one for the books, and then it gets worse for him. Beautiful finish by Eva. That wealth of experience that he has. He's looking at the goalkeeper for that slight shift of his weight, but it was more than that, wasn't it? Making it easy for him to pick his spot.
Ekong. And Gigi, Leicester man out wide. Touch down the line for Iheanacho. Mikel now getting involved.
Better football.
A new generation of the Super Eagles. Not quite eaglets. They are ready to fly. Balogun touches it around Aguero and wide. Waziem. See him every week on beIN Sports with Nantes. Poor pass straight to Banega. 10 minutes left to go in this opening half. Lone goal, Banega capitalizing on the miscue.
Nice play, Mascherano again.
Sneaks the left foot between the attackers.
This is where it leads to.
Threaded
Brilliant!
forward and a chance
Red
for
ball!
Pavon. Squares.
Ah!
Aguero back on the board, and Argentina by 2.
Stupendously magnificent, Albi Celesti. This is as good as it gets. Mascherano starts the dominoes falling, and Sampaoli will be wearing his batteries out replaying this with his fancy schmancy machine, because this is fancy football, people. Direct. This is the end result. Beautiful lead ball. Sees a square man begging, running. Aguero nails it on. Pavon sets the table with beautiful silverware. Right foot, spot you. I see you, pal. Put it away. Sliding tackles be damned. Kun Aguero latches onto this. But take a look at this at half-time, people. This one goes all the way back. This full footballing pitch is decorated with Argentina football. And here he is, as clean as Neutrogena, and the man from Argentina, Aguero.
Second goal of the year, second goal of the month, as he gets on the board for the first time since the Copa America Centenario.
The importance of Mascherano's beautiful ball from the back cannot be overstated. We will see it again, and we'll look at it under a microscope, because it was a dagger ball that started everything falling. The pressure was applied by two split players in the green shirts, but Mascherano found it. A window of opportunity. 3 passes later, it's a golazo for me. Wonderful team football. Brave, deadly, accurate.
Ray, nothing against the likes of a Messi or Dybala, but how impressive has Pavon been? He has a job to do, which is to control this right flank and send the ball into the danger man. He's created 3 or 4 clear-cut opportunities in the opening 40 minutes.
Yep, Messi's going to have to work hard to get his place back, Phil.
I'm sure Sampaoli thinks the exact same. Enzo Perez off to Dybala. And speaking of Dybala, relatively quiet in the opening half.
I don't know.
Maybe harmoniously involved. Perez knocks down. 7 left to go. Foul against Ogu, the Hapoel midfielder. Ball bangs off of Dybala, straight to the path of Lo Celso. Ogu giving chase and reaches in and plucks it away. Right at the center circle.
Lo Celso started this game off well, but it's been a little bit more ragged as the game's gone on, surprisingly. Sad eyes now.
Lots of the Nigerians have made the trek. Many live in Russia to begin with. A chance to reconnect. Here's Mikel. Plays it square. Ogu up the line. Back in for John Obi Mikel. Now Nigeria have to feel a bit unfortunate. They were just starting to tie things together, and the lethal counter from Argentina doubled the lead.
Good covering from Paulo Dybala there, and that's where it leads to. Bad giveaway here.
Here they come again.
Nicely.
Dybala holds
and again
it across. Perez
nicely.
Here's a chance for Di Maria.
Oh.
Cleared away by Ekong, but over to the top. Dybala.
Great support. His pressing started it, Dybala, and then he started to link up nicely and still got the industry to get forward in full support.
Mascherano.
Sweet. Again, lovely, delicate touch Dybala has as he's looking for the next pass. A wonderful vision.
They'll settle for the corner. Gerhard Rohr has a few things he has to like, a few more he has to work on.
Yeah, it's all been very horizontal type of play from Nigeria, nothing too penetrative. You can see the opposite for Argentina.
Hangs towards the spot. Cleared, looking for Dybala.
Pizzella, the number 4, Fiorentina. Oh, he bundled off. No, Maria wanting this one called. Seeing who's being held. Lovely visionary pass. I was talking about German Pizzella, Phil. It's only his second cap for the Albicelesti, but he's been playing very, very well, the ex-River man.
Now with Fiorentina.
Yeah.
Marchesín, another one to keep an eye on. The Club America keeper just making his 3rd appearance. You'd figure, Ray, the job is still Sergio Romero's, even though he's not even a starting keeper and hasn't been for the last 4 years. Yeah. He's held on to the starting spot with Argentina. Maybe a little surprised Geronimo Rui was not called in for this. Still awaiting his first senior cap. Dybala over to Lo Celso. Retreats. Banega. Perez, who's now pushed up field. Banega playing the deepest.
What a ball!
Dropped over the back line, but Di Maria a little anxious.
Well, we'll take a look. Let's see if it is off again. Magnificent attempt to find Angel over this sort of distance. Take a look. What do you think? Oh, Phil, I think he's on.
Did seem to have that little half step backwards.
Yeah.
But did it happen in time? Ladislav Bezborodov, the former Zenit striker, now turned referee, assisted by Valery Danchenko on this near side, who called the off. Ball back for Ogu.
Unlucky.
Top of the arc, and they will call the foul.
Well, this was pretty football. Beautifully engineered, this from Alex Iwobi again, the Arsenal man. His first touch, first pass was absolutely beautiful. The ball knifed into him, and then seeing the player behind him, look at this. Wonderful ball. There's the give, there's the go. And Mascherano has his hook out. And it's probably a smart thing to do. It was a lovely little ball. Nicely engineered again. John Obi Mikel was a part of it. Nice football. Nigeria's best passage of play.
Now maybe a chance to cut into the lead just before the half. Marchesín looking on, the drum beat from the stands. Mikel will leave it, lift it towards the corner, and it's off the fingertips and in. What a free kick. The goal to Iheanacho, his 8th in just 14 games.
Kelechi Iheanacho, wonderful lynx eye vision here. And then a left foot Stradivarius that sends the Nigerians Barry White disco. Take a look at Marchesín. He sees there's the wonderful give and go and get that set up this free kick. Left foot, beautiful, steers it in. He's got too much ground to make up, Augustine, on his line. He's trying desperately to get there. Still think, Phil, he's got to be a little bit further over to the goalkeeper's right. And he would have got there. It's always easy to pick it apart, but you look at the lads in the Argentina wall and seeing there's an awful lot of space for Iheanacho to hit, but he's still got to hit it. And he gets his angles down better than Pythagoras. Tremendous. 2-1.
Well, on the free kick goal by Banega, we criticized Akpe for building a wall and cheating wall side.
Yeah.
But now with Marchesín, you can see why a goalkeeper might want to cheat. Because as you point out, a half a step.
Sure.
And he stops it.
Tough break, but lovely goal from the Leicester City lad. Outfoxed him.
8 goals in just 14 caps. And here he sets up what could be another drop back. Abdullahi, long shot towards that near post. Marchesine down in time.
I have a little bit of sympathy with Marchesine as well. It's probably the first attempt, maybe his first touch of the ball the entire game. Hasn't been very much involved at all, hasn't been tested, and half time.
So we have reached the break. An entertaining first half. Argentina 2-1 over Nigeria.
Good goals as well. Venegas strike, the Kun Aguero.
Beautiful look. The stadium actually a little smaller than it appears from the outside, but well protected. Holds about 35,000 quite comfortably. And here are the stats from the first half of play. Only 2 shots from Nigeria, so at least on paper, Ray, they can feel a bit fortunate only to be trailing by a goal.
On the score sheet, it's a tight game, but the gulf of quality in between the two teams is pretty substantial. But Gennard Rohr will certainly have had words with his goalkeeper and see how much they shuffle the deck. Sad when you see a goalkeeper suffering like that. This beautiful stadium filled with the graphics entirely around the stadium. Imagine the replays going on in there. CinemaScope. Little Argentina fan.
This will not be one of the stadiums for the World Cup. Mentioned probably could squeeze about 40 with a little extra. They do have a relatively small stadium in Kaliningrad, but many of them 60,000, 70,000. Luzhniki over 80,000. But it is beautiful.
It really is.
Kuban Krasnodar, the ex-Dinamo Krasnodar. And look at the field conditions. We saw a little bit of the grass kicking up, but looks pristine from here. Nigeria going over the finer points of the white lines, perhaps for their goalkeeper before they step out onto the pitch.
Some substitutions already coming in.
Looks
and
like
why not?
2 or 3 maybe for Nigeria ready to jump in. And it might have been Benedetto loosening up for Argentina. And it will be. Dario Benedetto stepping on for his 4th appearance.
Who's he play for, Phil?
Plays for Boca Juniors.
Fourth appearance for Dario. Do it again, Dad.
He's got his own. You gotta love it. 2-1 Argentina. Second half about to get underway. And again, the change for Argentina looks like a straight swap, maybe not risking an injury to Sergio Aguero. Straight swap with Benedetto checking in, the 27-year-old from Boca Juniors. Meanwhile, just taking a look, looked like there might have been a couple of changes, and there is one at the bottom of the screen. Tyler Ebwehi, the 21-year-old from ADO Den Haag, with his 2nd cap. Out wide, Iwobi strides, but dispossessed. Nice from Otamendi, sliding over from that left spot. This is, again, interesting with Jorge Sampaoli, who took a lot of criticism about some of the failures for Argentina, but he jumped in the middle of qualifying. At most, he would end up getting the team with a couple of days before one of their qualifiers. Now he has had some time to tinker, and defensively with 3 in the back. 3 behind the lone point man. A little Bielsa back in the mix for Argentina.
Yeah, he's got some good options as well. Federico Fazio, Insua, and of course Mamana, the ex-River lad, 21-year-old, good promising player playing his football in Zenit St. Petersburg. That's a fine pass again, nicely.
So drops. Lo Celso back in for the waiting hands of Akpay. And actually, no, they have made the switch, and it is Francis Azul.
Yeah.
Zoho making his debut, the 19-year-old from Depor.
Being very impressive as well in the practice working week, evidently, by all accounts, for Deportivo La Coruña. A wonderful historic goalkeeper as well. Youngest, as I said earlier, youngest ever in La Liga. And he was only 18, I believe, in so many days. Oh, congratulations to Francis, who takes the place of poor Daniel Akpay.
And that cannot be a pleasant seat on the bench for Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
You'd kind of hope you'd get a chance to redeem yourself, and he did do okay afterwards, but that is a haunting misplay.
2.
And now
It was
for
the sin, and then he sinned even more.
Zoho, 6'5", coming out of the Aspire Academy in Qatar before moving to Depor.
Yes. Well, they're facing
Dybala.
a lot of good fire here, so we'll see how he lives up to these expectations. Tough, come in at half-time as well. Maybe he was told he'd be playing 45, but going to be facing some arrows here.
Ogo sliding over, Mascherano launching it in, cleared away by Balogun. Out to midfield. Mikel knocked down, but no whistle, and knocked back to the big youngster Uzoho. Mikel making his 82nd appearance.
Yeah, he's a player that Sir Alex Ferguson wanted desperately at Man United before Chelsea come in and plucked him away from right under the Knight's nose. And Obi Mikel playing in China now.
Offside?
Ooh.
Nope, flag stays down. Token effort to try and get it back from Iwobi. As Gerhard, not Rohr, rather quiet on the sideline. Sloppy touch from Lo Celso. Straight to Iheanacho, lays it off. Ibwehi, the substitute, can't keep it in. The 21-year-old with Otamendi again stepping in.
Another player that's been in resurgent form for Manchester City under Guardiola. He certainly had a profound effect on Otamendi's increased confidence.
All the way to the back post, headed down but awry. Looked like Balogun soaring just over Ekong. And Gigi there as well at the back post. Getting in each other's way a bit. And it was Ekong. Burst of speed up the middle. Looked like the cleats might have caught Perez as he was down on the ground unintentionally. He is still down. Referee keeping an eye, and now he will blow the whistle to try and take care of the Riverman. As he was trying to get up, looked like he just got caught there. Nothing intentional about the run from Ogo, it appears, but Perez okay. Sharp pass back, plucked away by Njiji. Sneaks it forward for Iheanacho. The Leicester man towards the spot. One touch buried. Ogo just his second goal, but what a beautiful one. And no, it's Iwobi. Iwobi on the spot for his third goal after the setup from Iheanacho. We're tied at 2.
Kelechi Iheanacho sets the table beautifully for Iwobi, who just has a wide open goal to hit. Nice lead-up play, slack defending earlier, but that's a lovely finish. You see these put away really with that sort of coolness. That's a lovely steered-in slot from Iwobi. Lovely little ball into him, but the way he keeps it down, the Arsenal man guns Argentina and draws his team level with 2-2 as a nice goal. Argentina's got to be looked at severely there by Sampaoli. Not in the initial pass into Iwobi, Phil, but the build-up there was just a little bit too lackadaisical. The defending was too lackadaisical by Argentina and not quick enough. And now they've got to respond. Nigeria pulling this back.
Well, both coaches, some things to like, some things to work on, and from fans, it's been absolutely brilliant. Memorable moments, both in the blunder category and the brilliance category.
Certainly something difficult for Argentina's George Sampaoli to be concerned about, and they have got a game in control, how to maintain that lead and still have the variety in their forward play. Look at this, found a way through again.
Leaves it, and it's tucked on the far side by the substitute. Oh, what a goal. Idowu has lifted Nigeria into the lead.
Well, again, this is wonderful, considerate passing of the just top class, top draw. Beautiful play. And we look at it again. Argentina not able to contain this wonderful first-time passing. Beautiful. That is as good as it gets. Syncopated football. Where was this in the first half? It was completely absent. But this beautiful slide rule is just a thunder at the end of the lightning attack. One-touch football is perfection. It doesn't get any better than that. And we saw 3 first-time passes. Brian Idowu, he's a player who was in Russia, and he's came out, and it's his first cap and virtually his first touch of the game, Phil.
Born in Russia, but elected to suit up for Nigeria, and I think he might have made the right choice.
Well, he was very touched and honoured, but what a dream start for Brian. As you said, born in Russia, and that's an amazing first statement, playing for his country. Dynamo St. Petersburg, 25-year-old, and this is his first call for the Eagles.
Ball whipped into the middle, and the youngster,
it's going to be his first touch of the game. But hey, Phil, what a beautifully engineered, crafted goal. Players running off. The first pass, and then the dynamic action from the green shirts. That was as good as African football as you'll ever see. And the wonderful vibrancy of the attack, just uncontainable that time. And maybe the second goal that drew it level was in some ways, you could say, a little fortunate. And you'd be a hard man to say that, but not the third goal. The third one is magnificent goal.
Mention the fact there are many expats in attendance here today from Nigeria. His parents, one of them, his father from Nigeria, his mother half Russian, half Nigerian, grew up in St. Petersburg, but now with Amkar Perm, and a Super Eagle at that. And credit as well to Gernot Rohr. We were saying, what does he need to do in the second half?
Here.
He's done it. It will be upended. Running into Petzela. No whistle from the referee, though.
That last attack, John Ogu was wide open. That's a good ball.
Into the area. Forced wide. Benedetto can't get the cross in. And it's Idowu on defense.
Argentina's defense sadly went missing, like the kids in the Blair Witch Project there, Phil. Not just in that last attack, but that, oh man, very, very slack. And as good as they were in that first half, certainly gives George Sampaoli a lot to think about on the long flight back to Argentina. A plaudable goal, though, the third one for Nigeria.
Giovanni Lo Celso and Ray, we were talking about this during the half.
It was a good look for him, and
10
he started out
good.
well. Yep.
And then he just seemed to put it into neutral.
And when he warmed his feet nicely, confident and responsible, wanting the ball. But then it started to become a little ragged as Ozoho has been the inspiration for Nigeria's comeback.
And now can Papu Gomez be the inspiration for Argentina?
That's good flair.
Out wide for Ebuehi, who helped create the second goal to equalize. John Obi Mikel holding off the challenge of Eber Banega into the path of Iheanacho. Iheanacho tries to lift it, but Mascherano's seen that before.
A lovely stab through ball by John Obi Mikel, and here they come again.
3 at the top of the 18. Ebuehi in back heel. Oh, what a stop by Marchesín, but it wouldn't have counted. Iheanacho just offside.
Again, look at how narrow this team is, and no protection from the flank players now for Argentina.
Gernot Rohr changing his goalkeeper. Uzohu has been solid despite his young age. Lifted into the path of Papu, cleared far side and blasted away. Rohr also changed his 2 outside backs. Ebuehi helped create the second. Idowu scores the third. I think you could say Rohr got the halftime adjustments well done right. Now it's up to Sampaoli in action. Sliding to the inside, Di Maria flipping it wide for Alejandro Gomez. Papu, the Atalanta icon. Sometimes known for the captain's armbands he wears for Atalanta, but also known for his goal celebrations.
These friendly exhibition games always throw out so many good tests. Now Argentina's got one. They were so impressive in gaining this lead, and now they're up against a resurgent team, and they've got a lot to find.
It will be after the tackle from Perez. Out for a Nigerian throw, and more substitutions about to check in. "30 minutes left to go in this one. Out, Leon Balogun. Good work in the back alongside Ekong and the youngster Awaziem. Omaroa checking in for Nigeria. "24 years of age, plays in Turkey for Kasımpaşa. His 36th cap for the late call-up. Chelsea property, although as many, including John Obi Mikel, can attest to, he's been loaned out 5 times. Perez over Mascherano. Argentina now chasing the game, Ray.
Yeah, I'm not sure what went wrong here for Sampaoli, because they were just torn apart by Nigeria's, and it wasn't as if it was direct play. There's nothing too direct about it. It was lovely link-up football that just pulled apart the Argentine press and the defenders and opened them up. A real sign of concern how you can hit the snooze button after looking pretty much watertight in the first half.
Well, Dybala will be replaced by Fernando Bellucci. And how would you rate Paulo Dybala's appearance on the day?
It wasn't bad. It was first half again when they were really ticking along beautifully. He was at the heart of a lot that Argentina had pulled out of their bag of tricks. Sampaoli being a little kind and pulling him out, and certainly a high octane, high quality player, Dybala. It's the chemistry that's needed in this team, Phil, and what was completely lacking in chemistry from this team in green has just come together in a wonderful concoction of lovely lead football.
Pouring forward,
well played.
Nice tackle from Petzela. Little surprised Bellucci gets the call. 34 years of age, just 5 caps.
Nicely.
Papu almost made it through. Di Maria as well, but the ball bouncing the Super Eagles' way. Another chance in the center of the park for Gomez. Nigeria a little rattled after these last substitutions, but in front. Over in time, the goal scorer Idowu still in danger, now headed clear.
The pace.
And he's got help on the far side.
You take him on here.
Iheanacho against Otamendi, his old teammate, who's read that well.
Yeah.
And for Bellucci. Again to the San Lorenzo man. Acrobatic on the give and go. Then gets it to Banega. Papu sliding over towards the right side. Here's Pavon. Forced backwards, but of the relative newcomers, Pavon has been impressive. Bellucci. Again, well, mention maybe a question for the 34-year-old, but the ball seems to like him in his opening minutes. Perez.
Better response for Argentina in terms of possession. Where's the penetration, though? And certainly lacking a little bit precision.
Still in. Cleared by Ekong. Whipped in by Banega. Off the chest of Ekong. Iheanacho, and it's going to be a foot race. Mascherano scrambling to get over. Help in the middle for Iwobi. If he spots him, it's Iheanacho, but too much on the delivery. Back for Njiji.
Getting the options there for the Super Eagles when they do take flight. Man, the pace of them is just stretching out Argentina and really causing all sorts of concerns.
If this score stays, Ray, What will Ole be saying in the headlines tomorrow?
Well, the first half was absolutely wonderful and admirable, but as the substitutes have come in, the chemistry seems to have gone a little bit away from Argentina. And full credit to Nigeria. I mean, they really put their Ferrari into gear. It's a good lead.
Di Maria, left foot across the 6, chested away by Omoruo, the substitute, just to be safe about it.
And for these sorts of games as well, Phil, I mean, it's understandable the results are always important, but these coaches got to take a look at these players knocking on the door. These are the environments that are invaluable for Sampaoli. This isn't going to be his team once the World Cup starts, but he's got to take a look at these. A lot more to be fed into that back line of Argentina and the wide players to cover.
Gomez from the corner. Mikel handling it well, bouncing in, trying to head it and deflect it towards goal, but Perez sends it wide.
This one looks as if it's going to be goal bound. Bouncing ball comes into Enzo. Pretty much a good clear header as this one comes bouncing into him. And it's just a poor header. It actually ends up coming off his shoulder.
From a fan's perspective, again, it has been an entertaining 90 minutes. I think Rohr has learned something very valuable about his team, in the spirit that maybe has been missing in recent World Cups. That fight back spirit. Bellucci far side. There's a lot of regulars that are not in the picture at the moment. Mentioned Omoruo, who was called back in, but Ekiagile lifted across for Di Maria. Back in time, Abuehi. Raul Ideas, success. Victor Moses not on this roster either.
Yep.
And a good look at the 19-year-old Uzohu, maybe filling the gloves of Enyama finally. Otamendi, but not close enough. And Iheanacho being directed towards the sideline.
Nicely involved in the second half. Iheanacho had a good game. All of his 70 minutes showed up brightly. Nice spark. Imaginative player as well, full of pace and deadly precision with his free kick.
One Fox out, one Fox in. The speedy Ahmed Musa. And again, as they maybe bunker back and Argentina pushes forward, Musa maybe a chance to use those wheels on a counter.
Great experience as well. Ahmed Musa, long time international.
Still one sub left for Nigeria. Sampaoli still with half of the jokers in his deck. For Argentina, still needing to formalize some of their pre-World Cup friendlies. A little bump from Musa, but it makes its way across to Mascherano. Of course, some teams will be playing in January. The next true FIFA date is set for March, and there will be that series of friendlies just prior to Russia. But in some ways, Nigeria, with the benefit of the African Cup of Nations qualifying, maybe not quite the same competition as they faced this week, but they'll be back in action against the Seychelles in March. Final quarter hour approaches. You could say it's just a friendly, but you see the frustration on Banega's face.
It's not just Banega and the pattern of play that he's starting to miss out on here, and a lovely lead ball for him that'll hold up.
Again, Di Maria tucking it back, but Papu would overrun it.
You were talking about Dybala there earlier as well, Phil, on
No
how
foul.
much he's going to be able to come to the fore for Argentina. As decent as he played, you look at a player like well, there's nobody like him, like Messi, in terms of inspiring his team. But in Dybala, you know, we've seen it before so many times in his young career. He has the capability to be that inspiration, but we want to see it a lot more in games like this, even though this is an exhibition friendly. Attitude wasn't quite there today from Dybala. There's flashes of it.
Look good on the dribble.
Yeah, there's always that, you know, but
now he's out, and it's a chance for Papu to lay claim. Just his 4th cap for the 29-year-old, and he realizes it's Russia or bust. He won't have another chance. Mikel right in front of the referee, and a free kick for Nigeria.
And another player that's come alive in the second half is Obi Mikel.
Again to Musa. Threads it forward for Iwobi. Gets through. Mascherano like he wasn't even there. A training exercise for Nigeria. 2 straight for Iwobi, and Nigeria by 2.
Iwobi beautiful with his hammer blow here, and puts Mascherano down on his back again. They are absolutely shadows in the Argentina defense, and this is an easy pick. Iwobi, a beautiful setup originally, lovely ball. The control is magnificent, but poor defending again. Mascherano jumping in, trying to find something. I think that's a nutmeg. Iwobi slips through with a tunnel of Mascherano, and a lovely dispatch, side netting. Tremendous lead ball as well to find Alex. Disaster for Argentina after showing up so well against Russia and against Nigeria in the first half. It is just unspooled. The whole game plan and the individuals collectively, they're not looking complimentary whatsoever, and full credit to Musa's men, because the quality of these goals, Phil, there's nothing capricious about them, nothing lucky, nothing accidental. They've been wonderfully engineered goals from Nigeria.
I think really, in all honesty, you can point to all 6 goals and say the same. Some of them might have been set up with a gift, but they were elegantly wrapped by the goal scorers. Banega's free kick after the blunder from Akpeyi. Pabon to Aguero with a brilliant finish. And Ray, I think almost anyone watching, as we see a couple more Argentine subs loosening up, anyone in the world watching that saw that second goal go in and see Argentina by 2 are thinking this one's over.
Yeah,
they're in full control.
Sure.
76th minute. Rigoni, one of the players, about ready to check in. Perez in for Papu. Lifted across Bellucci, but again at 6'5", the teenager Uzohu towering over the opposition. And there, as you see at the bottom of the screen, it's Perotti. So 2 more midfielders into the fray. Rohr applauding his team. Thumbs up from Njiji. Di Maria is done. And Emi Rigoni checks in. I would imagine Banega might be the other, or perhaps Enzo Perez. Nope, it will be out wide. Christian Pabon.
The Roma lad Perotti certainly got plenty of fizz in his game to try to inspire Argentina back in, but it's not the individual type of sizzle that Sampaoli will be looking for. Better integration, and see if this defense can hold up against this rampant counter-attacking football of Nigeria.
Nice work by Perotti, but staying with him all the time, Tyrone Abuehi, the 21-year-old defender from Ado, has been impressive since coming on in the second half. But faked out here by Alejandro Gomez. The cross leaves a bit to be desired. Bellucci tracks it down. Perotti. Same passes they tried with Dybala. Again, tries a little shake and bake to try and get through, but can't. Nigeria up for the challenges. Sampaoli continues his familiar pacing on the sideline. And from an Argentina perspective, Ray, again, better now than next summer.
Well, the truth of it is, Phil, in their South American World Cup qualifying quest, we saw too much of this. And the game against Russia in that first half, you think now they're starting to relax, they're starting to lean on each other, starting to believe in the pattern of play that Sampaoli's put into place. But again, we saw it in the World Cup qualifiers, how this can be a Jekyll and Hyde team, not just on the road, but in Buenos Aires. Look out.
Out wide for Iwobi, one of the heroes of the day, doubling his international goal haul in the second half.
I'll play it again.
John Obi Mikel, Mascherano, but reading it well. Idowu, the St. Petersburg-born Nigerian. Again, this is like a brand new Nigeria from what we saw in the opening half. Abuehi, delicate. Musa, maybe bumped as he crosses right into the midsection of Otamendi. One more attacker if they wish, and that's Edu Salvio. But they're going to go to the flanks and bring in Insua. So I think this might be a switch back more to 4 in the back. Petzela will exit. And Insua will check in. Looks like a substitution maybe getting set for Nigeria as well. John Obi Mikel all the way to the back post, and Ndidi almost nets a fifth.
Yeah, Wilfred rises, a lovely stab header. The Leicester City man again rises above his own teammate and is perhaps put off a little bit by it. But a good attempt again. Free header.
Insua making his return. Has not played for Argentina since 2011. And the 28-year-old was a phenom coming up. Many thought he was going to be the left back of the future. Second effort to bring down Papu Gomez succeeds. Hard to dance without your feet.
One of the questions that's going to be kicked around by the Argentina fans, of course, is on these big dress rehearsals, did they find anybody that could really complement Leo Messi on that inside?
And
Dybala, Eva Banega, or Celso. Banega looks as if he brings a lot more to the dance field, but it's hard to leave out Dybala.
There's Banega, and handed his ticket right to the teenager. The concern that has always been expressed with Dybala and Messi is the fact that they end up occupying the same space at this point of their career, and Dybala did end up playing in that withdrawn playmaker position.
Yep.
I think Christian Pavón has worked his way into the conversation as a role player, But I agree with you. As far as a starting 11 impact player, I'm not sure we've seen one. At least not yet. Although, would you say Aguero has forced his way back into the picture?
It's always debatable. You've seen his impact in the first half, not just on his goal-scoring prowess, but the danger Aguero brings. I think he's going to be the point man. But Higuain, again, another player who's been out of favour lately and still lighting it up in Italy with Juve. A lot of problems, a lot of questions to be answered.
Not bad from Perotti, but Ekong was there.
Defensively, Phil, this Argentina side as well, is going to be looked at on how he's going to set it up to get the best out of a defence that's certainly going to be star-studded and heavy with talent going forward. But the actual defence of the team in transition, as I say, I think we saw the far better benefit against Russia and in the first half against this team. But it's just gone dissolved away now.
Well, the fact that he's brought in Insua late and gone back to 4 in the back.
Yeah.
Otamendi's gone right, Mascherano left.
Good ball.
Lifted in. Just a touch, but not enough from Benedetto.
Beautiful ball, served in to Dario. Rises beautifully. Would have liked to see that one go to the left side of Big Francis Uzoho. Lovely lead. That's a tremendous header. Just underneath the bar. Well saved again.
Nodded away, Mikel, but in the box, and Belushi almost.
Looks much more comfortable, doesn't he, this young man in goal, than Aniel Akpeyi did in the first half. Looks a lot more confident at a young age of 19 years.
Well, let's just say if he's not the goalkeeper in Russia, if he's not by Qatar, I think he won't be the only one surprised.
Well played.
Down in a heap, Mikel, whistle from Bezborodov.
After wonderful skill, tight confines, 3 players around him, and that's wonderful skill and ability.
Quickly from Musa. Gets around Perotti. Mascherano seems a bit more comfortable at the moment. Is it an experiment he will continue to work on?
Sure it is. That's what coaches do. They coach, they make changes, they'll look at different formulas, try to concoct that chemistry that's going to be able to lift them up one more rung in the ladder. But he's on easy questions for Sampaoli in terms of the individuals at his disposal and concocting them all around Messi to get full benefit out of Leo. It's a big job.
More World Cup qualifying coming up following this match.
Nicely.
Musa gets rid of it quickly. Mikel measures, delivers, but knocked away. It'll be a corner.
Saying his apologies to Abehi. Lovely overlapping run, and John Obi Mikel apologizes for not feeding the overlapping runner.
Senegal, South Africa on beIN Sports and beIN Sports in Espanol. Burkina Faso against Cape Verde on beIN Sports Connect 4. Of course, those are qualifiers that have in many ways already been decided, but now maybe working ahead towards that next AFCON qualifying. One more ticket in Europe to be awarded. Offside, lazy from Nigeria that time. Ireland taking on Denmark this afternoon, and then even more with Australia and their second leg against Honduras. Peru, their second leg against New Zealand. Both of those matches will be right here on beIN Sports.
Iwobi takes his leave after a wonderful goal. Mr. Wenger, are you looking as this lad is a real player? Wonderful build, beautiful balance, confidence, personality galore. 21 years old. He is going to be a joy to watch.
And replaced by Larry, they call him.
Hey.
Olarenwaju Kayode. We have had the pleasure to watch.
Yep, La Liga has certainly been a bright spark.
Girona now making his 4th cap. And moments to remember for the Super Eagles fans in attendance here today. Heading to the 88th minute. A phenomenal second half. And not as though the first half was bad. Just Argentina took advantage, but in the second half, Nigeria took Argentina. Mascherano across. Otamendi. Again, Argentina trying to play their game, keep their rhythm. Awkwardly touched back by Ekong, but it slips through the attack. And into the center of the park. And now over near side to Emi Nsua. Perotti sneaks it through, but good positioning from Ekong. Pressure continuing to build. Bellucci low. Ekong gets lower. Mascherano steps up. Perez hooked by Musa.
Oh, well refed. Sees Musa coming in and right in front of him. Wonderful spur on a telephone wire run here. And Musa reaches in for something that's there 1 second and gone the next. Nothing vicious about it. Referee handles it well.
90th minute. Can Argentina force their way back into the scoreline to make it a bit more respectable? Or can Uzoho keep a clean sheet here in the second half? Banega, just too much. What was it that Nigeria did differently?
Entirely different attitude. Everything starts with that, but I think they took full advantage of 1 or 2 lax movements along that Argentina back line. Phil, when we look at it again, you see the spaces open up, but Nigeria's renewed confidence coming out of that locker room in that second half just was like electric switch went off in them, and really they adjusted everything. They look more coordinated at the back. They've been defending well here as well. The goalkeeper certainly had a lot of stability, and the individual performance of Iwobi was probably the brightest light of all. So a combination, it wasn't just one set of letdowns from Argentina, but certainly too many changes for any great assessment to go on. There'll be no question that Sampaoli will be disappointed with what he set up in that locker room at first half, because it looked as if it was damage done and there was more to come. Turned out the wrong way.
Perotti to the 6, flicked on by Ekong and out for the corner. First minute of added time almost done. Well, Nigeria will find themselves in pot 4. That means the other 3 teams will be, at least according to the FIFA rankings, better. And even though they've been outplayed on the day, it's amazing what the addition of Lionel Messi can do. Argentina, despite their struggles, Ray, as Perotti takes it out of play, will find themselves in pot 1 as a seeded team. And we might see these 2 teams again next summer.
Lessons will be learned. And for Gernot Rohr, the Nigerian coach, are really going to be very pleased with this. And especially, I don't know what happened in that locker room at half-time, Phil, but the response was instantaneous and immediate and impressive from the Greens.
Here comes Argentina again. Well weighted for Gomez. Takes it to the goal line. Touched away by Ekong. Scrambling to get the corner in. Final seconds ticking away. You have to remember there have been the 3 goals and 12 substitutions. Again, Otamendi finding the ball but not the net. Perotti. Mascherano. Sneaks through to the spot, but Insua hadn't expected the deflection. Fans from the stands trying to get the early whistle. Banega battling Ogu. Down he goes, and he will get the foul. Gernot Rohr is somewhat of a journeyman as a coach, but the final chapter for the 64-year-old looks to be a doozy. Met on the volley. Belushi sees it deflected away. The goal scorer Idowu giving chase. Swept back in Rigoni. Falls for Insua. Lifted over for Perotti. Final seconds ticking away. The Roma man back to his left foot. Down in a heap. It looks like Otamendi as the ball cleared away, and that's going to do it. Argentina had a 2-goal lead, but Nigeria roars back with 4 of their own to claim the prize 4-2 in this friendly.
Gernot Rohr's back for sure. The Nigerian coach did a wonderful job. It didn't look as if everything was right in that first half. Very dodgy goalkeeping by Daniel Ekpai, but that was put right when big Francis Ozoho came in, and he got wonderful support and reaction. Argentina will come back, but in this game it looked as if Argentina were going to rock and roll right from the outset, Phil. It looked very, very good. They will look confident, and then this chance for Benegas put away beautifully after the goalkeeper, well, he goes missing in action, and he was the one who set up after picking the ball up outside of his area. Astonishing from a 31-year-old. The Chippa United man had a one to forget, but Francis Ozoho would come in later and settle the ship. The Deportivo La Coruña goalkeeper was absolutely wonderful in the second half. So there was a lot of spirit crushers for this Nigerian team. This beautiful lead ball from Dybala sets through, and Pavon puts it on a silver altar for Kun Aguero, and he slots it home. 2-0, and it looked all too easy. Beautiful lead ball, lift up of his eyes, and sees 2 options, the back post, the near post, and Kun Aguero meets and greets the train at the station, punches his ticket home. This lovely curling strike from this wonderful player who was absolutely tremendous all throughout the first half. Iheanacho, and second half really inspired his team with this wonderfully placed free kick and steers it home. Marchesín tries to get there, cannot. And then this one, lovely link-up ball, lovely look-away pass, and then the pullback is beautiful, and the slot home again, right on the money. Alex Iwobi, the Arsenal man. That's a tremendous finish. Lovely lead ball to settle it, but then that one, cool as a polar bear's backside. Mikel would start it. Beautiful one-touch pass from Iheanacho again. Sets the table up, and wonderful dispatch. Again, one-touch football. Give, go, get, keep on running. And wonderful link-up play this by Nigeria. The Super Eagles were never better than that. Wonderful team play and a lovely tuck away for Idowu. And then this one was the real cherry on the cake. Again, it's this bright gunner, Alex the Great, Iwobi. Wonderful finish. And Argentina's defense, kids in the Blair Witch Project go missing. 3 in a telephone box, and Iwobi don't care. He'll take his all on. Skedaddles past, nutmegs Mascherano, and then a diamond finish. Wonderful. And Mascherano exchanges the shirts in the locker room because he don't want to take that one off.
Nigeria with a 4-goal comeback and a shot across Argentina's bow. Francis Uzoho as well with his debut. Impressive for Nigeria.
Okay, I gotta run.
Hey, wait, there's something I need to tell you.
Dang.
Dang!
Dang.
See zero in a whole new way. Get 0 down, 0 deposit, 0 first month's payment, and 0 due at signing on select Volkswagen models. Now with the People First warranty.
It's a small finger, a worm.
Like a dagger?
Tiny sword.
Breadstick.
Matchstick.
A lamppost.
Coin slot.